Are they gonna have to go back on all the shit they talked about? Are we gonna get them that guys, hey man? It turns out New York actually had all the for years and years, this guy fucking this national basis. No, it's good. I think one of those liberals. We're gonna start talking about um, the whole system. We're gonna talk about New York City by speaking about Maryland, right? How's everyone doing? My name is Celso Garcia. Thank you for supporting this broadcast on every channel you can imagine, right? Thank you for supporting this broadcast, and I really do appreciate you across the board for supporting me, right? I really do support you. I really agree that you support me. I agree with you. But a lot of people don't agree with Joe Biden. He tried to give a speech in Maryland, and you could tell that the times have changed, right? Because there was a lot of people that supported him, and then a lot of truth started to come out about his support for Israel and genocide that was happening in Gaza. A lot of information started to come out. People started to speak about it online. They started to speak about it across the board. And then President Biden speaks at the Maryland Democratic Party Gala. Hello, everyone. My name is Celso Garcia. And some people say, oh, he should have ran again. He should have kept going. This is 1 year since he lost, right? And I mean, Kamala Harris, right? 2024, he would have went in 2025 January. And so more than a year, he would have still been president. And this would have been him um, and giving a speech. Imagine that instead of President Trump. And so some people say he should have ran again. I don't know if I agree with that because look at the state how he is doing. Right? He tried to give a speech at a Maryland gala, and look what happened.
It's a battle that's never truly over. And well, look,
He got booed. He didn't know how. He thought they were gonna love him. As it's a
well, I
gala.
can't sugarcoat it. These are indeed dark days. Let's remember, we are one of the only countries in the world. It's a battle
So he couldn't.
that's never truly over. And well, look,
They call him Genocide Joe.
while I can't sugarcoat it, these are indeed dark days.
And he's holding onto the podium. He's showing his age. But don't worry, Trump is showing his age too, right? That's why they got to make room for people that have, more energy, people that are willing to speak for the party in a different way, right? Speak for the party in a different way, um, right? So think about it. It's like people are screaming for change. The discontent with the establishment is greater than it has ever been. And that's just a reality, right? And by the way, my name is Celso Garcia from New York City, political commentator and podcaster, coming to you live from my studio in my living room. Thank you for joining me, speaking about the issues that matter. New York City has been on a streak, right, of wins, right? And a lot of people blame Joe Biden for ushering in an era of unpopular democracy, of unpopular sentiment, not giving us a chance as a country. They blame him for the overall destruction of the economy. I mean, Joe Biden didn't see the time coming, right? But the thing is that he was listening to the consultants. He was listening to the people uh, that he should have not been listening to, right? And so they continue this path of speaking for the things that they shouldn't be speaking for, right? Like they still keep arguing that we should move to the center, right? We should move to the center. That's their biggest argument. Let's move to the center. And so today was the Pride Parade in New York City. And the person that was there was Chuck Schumer, one of the leaders of the Democratic Party. And this is what happened to Chuck Schumer marching in the parade in New York City. So you can see it's hard to win an election without the support of the LGBTQ community in um, in New York City, right? And this is Chuck Schumer. All right, this is the Democratic leadership washed up, time to retire, as opposed to the way Zoran Mandani was received. He was received totally different. He was received totally different than Chuck Schumer was, right? I need to shave. That's what I see. I need to shave. Definitely need to shave the beard. All right. So he was received totally different, right? He was received totally different than than everyone else, right? Right. Zora Mandani was also in the Pride Parade, right? So this is Zoran at the Pride Parade. He was received totally different than um, right? He was received totally different. See the difference between if you represent the people, if you choose to work for the people, or you choose not to work for the people, the difference is big, right? Oops, I forgot to hit the share the screen. Okay, let's do it again. How's everyone doing? Right? Big difference between the two, right? Between Chuck Schumer's reception and I keep saying Hakeem Jeffries. I guess he's on my mind. Big difference, right? Between the way Zoran's being received and the way the Chuck Schumer's being received. Totally big difference. Don't you right? Don't you agree? he's being received in a different manner, right? He's being received in a totally different manner, right? Totally different than the way everyone else is being received. Totally different, right? Do you agree? He's being cheered on. They're actually like the way he's actually speaking, right? They're giving him cheers instead of trying to boo him, right? Or trying to kick him out. They actually welcome him Zora. So he received uh a superstar welcome, right? He received a superstar welcome that he had not received, right? He received a superstar welcome that not like Chuck Schumer. Big difference, right? Big difference in the reception. But if you watch the right wing media, you see them m- misaligning him, aligning him, attacking him, saying all types of craziness against him. And that just shows me that one politician is more popular than the other. But we have a big fight brewing. There's a lot of people that didn't support taxing the rich, don't believe in taxing the rich, but all of a sudden want to act like they care about the most marginalized people in the community, right? Um, so this was Zoran on May 12th saying that he fully balanced the budget. He had a budget deal, but now the Democrats, the blue Democrats, which are the same party as Zoran, the more conservative, more moderate Democrats decided they don't agree with the deal. They want more money for vouchers for the homeless or the what they call houseless. Let's listen to it.
This budget isn't just
They reached a deal, a handshake deal, but I guess the city council is now changing what they
about
want.
numbers on a page. It determines if our libraries get funded, if a street is safe to cross, if snow is actually shoveled after a storm. And
So now they decided they're gonna um, they're gonna delay the budget, right? Because it has to be balanced by this week, I believe. But now they're trying to not stick to the deal that they
you
made
deserve to know
with Zoran.
exactly how we got here. We inherited a
So they inherited a huge budget gap, and they had a handshake deal, right? So now they're going backwards on it, and they're not supporting the deal that they had already reached, right? They had reached the deal already, and now the city council is backtracking. Menin is backtracking. He no
$12
longer
billion budget deficit. We are speaking about a fiscal crisis.
it got chopped down, right? Even though the Governor Kathy Hochul, refused to tax the rich, even though everyone else didn't want to tax the rich, he still, there's a $12 million budget deficit in New York, right? All right, before we play the video, let me share with you the remember the aid of Zoran for whatever he did, for oscillating, for wanting a fight for the people, right? All right, let's share it. I'm gonna share the fundraising link for the people that want to donate to the channel, donate to what I'm trying to do, fight for workers' rights. Democratic Socialists won big, and that's important, right? That's important. And so let me show the link: www.gofundme.com. Manage, support South Soul's fight for workers' rights. Supporters donated, right? So it's a GoFundMe if you wanna support me. Or let me just give you a shorter link. This will be easier. This is the link to support the GoFundMe, right? I appreciate you for the fight because we have to change this democracy. The only way we change it is by working together, fighting for each other, right? That's the way we change things. That's the only way we can change the world, right?
At the scale greater than the Great Recession. Was the Great Recession.
Goran doesn't want to work today. All right, let me close that tab. Open the new one. Let's see. So New York City is in a battle for a big fight. A handshake deal between New York City Council Speaker Julie Menin and Mayor Zora Mandani on the city's upcoming budget has been delayed as the council members demanded more money for a city-funded housing voucher program known as City Feds, right? So it was so important for Menin, her ideological allies as well as the progressives in the council. Then why didn't they put in it in the response to the mayor's preliminary budget? Because they knew then what they also know now, they can't be funded with current fiscal constraints. Okay, so they knew that, and hmm, we got to respond to people because now everyone's being a critic, right? Now everyone's being a critic. Zoran is a the issue is the budget audit. Let's see. Let's put this here for him. Updating this guy on the city budget. They're really trying to hammer and go around on the city budget. You know better than me. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm back. Definitely back. Back in action. Sorry. Many distractions. I was responding to the Julie Menin because she's playing games with the politics. She's playing games with the budget, right? Definitely playing games with the budget, right? We talk about he's trying to fix the budget, right? So they're just being performative in the city council, trying to show that they're not being steamrolled by Mayor Zoran Mandani, right? Because we decided that she's gonna delay the budget, right? We decided to do a press conference and delay the budget, right? But that's not how things work. She's just playing games with the whole budget process, right? And so let me see. Okay, so let's get back to into it. And so the slop is right. Former assistant to Andrew Cuomo now wants to attack socialism. Let's listen to this.
Family gay marriage. So it is not true to say that the Democratic Party has been defunct, perhaps at the federal level. And honestly, I can't name a single actual concrete example of an accomplishment.
This is the nonsense, right? This is the nonsense they want to talk about, right? This is the nonsense they want to talk about. They want to act like everything they do is a good thing. Anything that Democratic socialists do is a bad thing, right? That's the big argument now. That's the big argument. And it has to be Cuomo's people to come and do that. That's out of all people. A Democrat attacking other Democrats. Centrist Democrats attacking the left flank. Always, right? So they're imploding again. They're imploding again, right? They're imploding again on themselves, despite them arguing otherwise.
That Bernie Sanders has actually gotten over the finish line, not just talked about at rallies, but actually gotten over the finish line. But there is different ways of governing, and there is a successful Democratic governing model, and yes, social safety net, and yes, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, but no to seizing the means of production, no to selling a bill of goods you can never deliver on, like free buses and free groceries and things that have been tried everywhere and failed. And so this conflation is of
It's
those
not about
things
free.
is just not based in reality. That's what Zoran Mamdani
It's
wants.
not about free.
He wants free.
There's nothing
wants
free.
free.
It's about who builds it and who owns it. Your guy,
I
Cuomo,
agree with
he
you
did
that there's
such a
nothing
great
free,
job.
but
Such a
Zoran
great job
Mamdani
that
says
Zora.
free.
Corbin, I'd like to step in here and
Yeah.
when you talk about the economic, we've just had a very, very thorough economic policy conversation. When you sell the economic policies, let's say, to voters outside of New York City on this kind of stuff, on top of that, you've also got questions of defunding the police. You've also got questions of some of the other social issues that the analysis from a lot of people coming out of 2024 was Democrats really need to step away from this kind of stuff because you're never going to win back that voted for Obama, voted for Trump voter in 2016. What about that effect?
What do you think
I
about
mean,
that?
that's not what I think the focus is on. The focus when it comes to how we're going to rebuild this country is about our ability to produce the things that we need, the energy
Let's
that
not
we
move to
need,
the
the
center.
hospitals, the coverage that we need. In 1980, 40% of the hospitals in this country were owned by the American people, cities, counties,
That's
states, and the
true.
federal
I
government.
agree.
Now it's less than 10%. And what we're seeing is a surge
Yeah,
in costs. Why?
a
Because we
takeover of
can't compete.
corporate
You talk about
America.
what you built there in New York.
Yeah.
You know who built the subway in New York? The people that built the subway in New York was a company that was owned by New York City back in the early 1920s and 30s and 40s. That's who built the subway.
Got 'em.
Direct employees for the
Got 'em.
city of New York.
And you know who
LaGuardia.
built
You
the
mentioned the
Second
name
Avenue
attached.
subway
You mentioned
extension in the
LaGuardia.
last
The name
10 years?
attached.
Union workers who have
LaGuardia
union
was a
salaries.
socialist.
Okay. Listen, the
Yeah,
idea that you're going to
okay.
say that public safety has
Roberto
nothing to do
LaGuardia.
with this is crazy. The people that just ran in New York City with the backing of Bernie Sanders and with Zoran Mamdani say things not just like abolish the police. They say abolish ICE. They say abolish the border. They were at a
Okay.
terrorist celebration rally on October 8th. And you
Where are
cannot
they?
pick and choose the things you want to highlight about the DSA while ignoring the rest of the platform and
Actually,
think
you can.
that somehow is okay.
Okay, Melissa
You
and Corbin.
absolutely
Every
can.
candidate
I
is
can pick
different.
and choose what I like about the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
Daggone
Well,
right I can.
It is a
that's
midterm
true.
election year, and we will be having this conversation again and again. Corbin Trent.
I agree. I mean, you could pick and choose what you want to follow, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. So why can't you pick and choose what you want to follow in the Democratic Socialist Party, right? Is that common sense? So back to the city thefts, right? What is the sticking point for the budget, or what the progressives claim? They're trying to get more out of Doron, more money, but they didn't put it in their preliminary budget. They know that they're in trouble. They didn't ask to tax the rich, so now where are they going to get the money to pay for it? They refuse to support Zoran in taxing the rich, especially Julie Menin. So now she knows that she's going to face backlash. Zoran has a 70% approval rating in New York City, and they know that they're in trouble because when they go back to their voters, it's a possibility that many of them could be primary, right? And um, so this is the audit by Thomas DiNapoli. He audited the city theft program in 2024 and 2026. Audit highlights to determine whether the New York City Department of Social Services is administering the city fighting homelessness and eviction prevention supplement program according to the rules and regulations, thereby assisting residents in the communities served by home-based providers to secure permanent housing. The audit covered the period from July 2021 through July 2025. New York City had long faced a lack of affordable housing, one of the many issues driving the homelessness crisis. According to the Coalition for the Homeless, the court appointed independent monitor of the municipal shelter system for single adults and the city appointed monitor of shelters for families in June 2025. 105,373 people slept each night in New York City shelters, with thousands more sleeping unsheltered in public spaces and more than 200,000 sleeping temporarily in the homes of others. In October 2018, the New York City Department of Social Services launched the City Fighting Homelessness and Victim Prevention Supplement, City FEPS rental assistance program, intended to help New Yorkers living in homeless shelters and those at risk of homelessness secure permanent housing. According to DSS officials, since the launch of City FEPS in 2018 through March 2025, the program has processed 57,888 new cases, helping 123,762 individuals to secure permanent housing. Officials also reported that between fiscal year 2019 and 24, city clerks expenses increased from 1.7 million to 834 million. In fiscal year 2025, the program projected costs were $1.2 billion, right? Um, DSS is composed of two administrative units: the New York City Human Resources Administration, the largest social service agency in the country, and New York City Department of Homeless Services, whose mission includes homelessness prevention and assisting New Yorkers experiencing homelessness to find suitable housing, right? Key findings consistent with our findings from prior audit 2023 completed in October 2024, we found DSS lacks adequate oversight and monitoring of the city FEPS program intended to assist individuals and families served by home-based providers. As a result, program applicants were exposed to apartment units with immediate hazardous violations despite pre-clearance and inspection requirements. Further, insufficient support for program eligibility verification and payment calculations has resulted in a lack of assurance that all approved applicants are eligible for the program and that the correct rent amounts are being paid. Given the lack of affordable housing, the vulnerability of the homeless population, and rising program costs, increased monitoring and oversight of safety and habitability requirements as well as program spending are critical to meeting city steps goals and assisting approved recipients to move into permanent housing. Our findings include the following. In the 5 of the 45 sample cases, DSS had approved housing units for the city FEP subsidy that had opened New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development hazardous violations. In 3 of the 5 cases, there was at least one open immediately hazardous violation, including a defective window guard and rat and roach infestation. In one example, we found that DSS approved a client to move into an apartment with significant hospital habitability issues. Despite previously approving another fleet that clients transfer out of that same apartment due to habitability issues. We reviewed HPD housing violation data and found that the department had 20 open violations. And upon further review, found that DSS approved city press clients moved into 3 other properties owned by the same landlord with similar issues. These 3 properties had 110 open violations at the time of our review in March 2025. While DSS may ban a landlord from participating in the program for violations of various landlord requirements, DSS has not established any policies or procedures to create a landlord disqualification list or included unresolved safety and habitability issues as grounds for disqualification. So, in other words, this program is a money pit for landlords and for the rich that still keep getting paid even after tenants move out for vacant units. So it's a state audit by State Controller Thomas DiNapoli by the New York City Department of Social Services, administration of the City FEPS program for Department of Social Service home-based clients. So when you see Julie Menin on TV burning Zora Mandani, it's performative. She's not really attacking him. Like she's just being performative, right? She's giving a speech, right? To me, she's just giving a speech, um, and just acting like she cares about the houseless, which have exploded in the city. and the issue hasn't been addressed adequately, right? It has not been addressed. Which let me see if I can find the video. And guess who Julie Bennings uh, endorsed? Burn, burn, burn. So she's burnt by Zora. How dare him go against our friend Adriano Espaillat? How dare Julie Menin go against our friend Adriano Espaillat? So guess who Julie Menin was campaigning with? Adriano Espaillat on several occasions. She threw her weight behind him and supported him, thinking that she had so much sway, and she realized she doesn't have as much sway or swag as Zora Mandata. So look who she's riding around town with, supporting. Boom. See, he is not to be trusted. I'll tell Zora right now, don't trust her. Don't trust the speaker. You can't trust her. You can't trust her on the handshake deal. You can't trust her on what she tells you. She'll backstab you because she doesn't want to tax the rich. She's like Kathy Hochul, right? Kathy Hochul refuses to tax the rich, just like España doesn't want to tax the rich, right? That's a reality of these people's behavior, you know? This is how they behave. They don't want anyone that contradicts them or speaks up against them. They'll find a way to cut your throat and stab you in the back. And I tell Zoran, keep fighting forward, keep fighting for the people because they're not for you. They're not trying to help you. They're trying to obstruct you. They're trying to do everything possible to make sure you fail, right? Any videos? Oh, there you go. That's the video I was looking for. Thank you.
Homelessness. The program works because it helps people. The city council created city FEPs to provide rental assistance to people living in shelters or at risk of homelessness. The program works because it helps people stay in their homes or move into permanent housing rather than the shelter system. That's better for families, it's better for our city, and let's be clear, it's also more cost effective for our city. This program offers families stability, it offers them opportunities, and it offers them hope. Why would we reject this option that costs the city as little as $54 per day when the cost of homeless shelters is as high as $270 per day? The administration should drop this costly and endless litigation in the midst of an affordability.
Very performative. All of a sudden, you care about the houseless. See this democratic tactics, the establishment tactics that they play is disgusting, unacceptable. Julie Menin, allow the city budget to pass. We know your games. We know what you're trying to do. We see that you're trying to paint Zora Mandani as against the people, but we know who he's fighting for, right? You want to pump money into a system that's benefiting landlords and benefiting a lot of people, but it's running very inefficiently, not running well. Let's fix it first, and then next year we can put more money into it when we tax the rich, and you jump on board and help put pressure on Kathy Hochul to tax the rich. Stop playing games, Mrs. Menon. No, just stop playing games, right? We know the games you're playing, not cool. We know the games you're playing, not cool at all, right? You're burned. You feel burned by the power of what Zoran is doing for the people. You don't like him being so popular. You don't like him knocking out your people, your candidates, endorsing people against you and winning. You don't want to see a winner. But at the end of the day, it's not about winning or losing, it's about the people. Your office belongs to the people, right? Whatever you do is for the people. It's not just performative, right? So, but I appreciate you all. And I say to the people, support Zoran on the budget, right? Support him on the budget, right? Not the washed up people that want to keep him from winning because they feel by stopping him, they stop Democratic Socialists from winning. Don't let these people destroy our city, New York City, the city we love, just because they don't like democratic socialism, just because personally they don't like it. But they were elected to represent the people, not represent themselves or their own money interests. Thank you for your support. My name is Celso Garcia. Like button. Thank you for having. We'll talk tomorrow. Good night. Peace.